Guys, let me just say something to you right now. This is a very serious situation. That's why we're breaking in live again. We have breaking news coming out of the Gulf Coast. This is not, I was said this last night. You know, I did this video last night telling everybody Delta. I called it the Tropical Storm Delta, but I knew it was going to be a hurricane. I told you guys that. Well, guess what? It exploded. It's now a Cat 4. It's now a Cat 4. And where it goes, well, I'll tell you about that in just a second. But first, let's put a shout out right now to www.virtualshield.com. That's www.virtualshield.com. A new study found websites share over 100 trillion pieces of personal data last year alone. And this is data taken on by users of various websites, like the one you're watching right now, YouTube. They are even used for advertising purposes. So I don't like being spied on by anybody for that matter, which is why I use Virtual Shield. That's www.virtualshield.com/deal/active/Begley. Look, Virtual Shield was built from the ground up, and tons of tech platforms have stopped their COVID-19 relief discounts, but not Virtual Shields. They're continuing on with their discount because of you, the loyal customers out there. They knocked the price off 50%, and that's going to be for life. And they also want to help save the cost during this crisis that our nation is in. If you want to browse the internet anonymously and safely, if you want your IP address scrambled, if you want to stop the spam stop all the spam at the fam, then what you need to do is get www.virtualshield.com/deals/active/Begley. You'll be glad you did. All right, guys, here's what's going on right now. This is a hurricane. It's now a Cat 4. And I'm telling you right now, this is dangerous. This is very, very dangerous. It might even go up. You're right. You might even go up to a Cat 5, CT. You're right. It may actually be a Cat 5 headed toward New Orleans. Nobody's aware of this. Guys, it was amazing to me that I did a YouTube video on this last night, and and nobody was out there. I said, come on, where's AccuWeather? Well, AccuWeather has finally awoken, and nobody was warned. This thing is going to be in New Orleans in 2 to 3 days, and nobody's even putting up boards yet because they don't know what's coming. I don't know if it's going to hit New Orleans or not, but it's certainly going to hit the Gulf Coast at the rate it's going. It's headed toward Louisiana. And here's the deal, guys. Delta explodes on the scene with a Hurricane Cat 4. It will be very dangerous hurricane as it's charging toward the Gulf Coast. AccuWeather heard me, and meteorologists have put the Gulf Coast of the United States now all of a sudden on high alert for what could be a disastrous strike later this week by a very dangerous hurricane. Overnight, through early Tuesday morning, the Hurricane Delta escalated quickly from a tropical storm to a Category 4 hurricane. And forecasters warned it could strengthen even more before it strikes the Yucatan Peninsula. It might be a Cat 5 when it hits the Yucatan Peninsula. Are you serious? And after that, forecasters expect Delta to emerge over the extremely warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, where it could maintain its strength as a Cat 4, maybe even a Cat 5. The hurricane's winds had increased to 130 miles an hour by 11:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time. And just over the next 24 hours after it became the 25th tropical storm of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season, Delta became the first major hurricane to churn over the Atlantic basin during the month of October. And since Hurricane Michael in 2018, Delta's intensification was the most extreme by a hurricane in 15 years for the month of October. The storm's maximum sustained winds increased by a whopping 70 miles an hour. It went from 40 miles an hour to 110. I told you it was going to happen. I told you you can't hit that warm waters of the Gulf and not have the energy, not fuel the fire, guys. In this case, fuel the storm. In its first 24 hours as named a storm, the only hurricane, Wilma, back in 2005, exploded into a more significant fashion over the same 24-hour period. Not even Katrina got that big that fast. Matter of fact, Delta has also set a speed record for strengthening from a depression to a Category 4 hurricane. Delta accomplished this in just over 36 hours and surpassed Hurricane Keith of the year 2000, which did so in 42 hours. Now, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, just 2 hours ago, Delta was packing winds of 145 miles an hour and was chugging along west and northwest at a speed of 17 miles an hour. This Category 4 hurricane was located about 215 miles east of southwest of Mexico. As a matter of fact, satellite images are showing that Delta was an incredibly compact hurricane on this morning. Hurricane force winds have extended outwardly now up to 30 miles from the storm's center, but a small eye, about 5 miles across, had developed, a sign that forecasters said indicate a rapid strengthening. And U.S. officials were already urging Gulf Coast residents to start preparing ahead of the intense hurricane. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards said early this morning that Louisiana should have a game plan now, as the fourth storm of the season is going to threaten Louisiana. Later in the day, Governor Edwards declared a state of emergency. Thank you for Louisiana. And Delta is expected to make landfall as a major hurricane in at least Category 3, maybe Category 4, maybe Category 5. Its strength over the south central or southeastern part of the state late Friday or early Saturday morning, becoming the first ever hurricane named after a Greek letter to strike the United States, and the 10th storm of the season to make landfall in the continental U.S. This is a new record for storms that hit the U.S. Guys, are you serious? And this could be the worst of them all. Matter of fact, I mean, people down in the Gulf states, they've not even picked up everything since Laura. And they're getting whacked and hacked and attacked on every side. Now is the time for Louisiana to prepare for the Hurricane Delta. This storm will affect Louisiana, and everyone it needs to prepare accordingly, said Governor Edwards this morning in a tweet. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey declared also a state of emergency midday today ahead of the hurricane, noted that her coastal areas of the state are still recovering from Sally's blow in mid-September, and Hurricane Delta could potentially have a significant impact on Alabama. It is possible that Delta could peak as a Category 5 hurricane with sustained winds exceeding 155 miles an hour if the storm were to reach that strength. It would be the first hurricane this season to reach Category 5 force, as Hurricanes Laura and Hurricane Teddy peaked out as a Category 4. Delta is forecast to take a fairly steady west-northwest path into Thursday, which will take the storm over part of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula on Wednesday with dangerous, damaging, and perhaps deadly consequences. And from Thursday till Friday, the hurricane is projected to begin a curved path to the north over the west central Gulf. As the storm approaches the Louisiana coast late Friday, it may begin to turn more to the northeast. As Delta approaches the central Gulf Coast, it will start to encounter increasing wind shear and slightly cooler water. But the forward speed of Delta and the degree of shear it encounters will determine if the wind strength at landfall. This could make it not as strong or way stronger. And it could, if it could really take a curve and miss Louisiana and actually hit, Mississippi, Alabama, or Pensacola, Florida area right in there. I don't think it will. It could also drift more west and end up hitting, the east, southern east coast of Texas, but I don't think so. I really think it's going to go right in there and smash into Louisiana, unfortunately. And I'm telling you, I don't like it. It's headed like it's going right to the Big Easy. Wind shear is the increase in wind speed, which altitudes as well as the sudden change in wind direction from one location to another. And wind shear and changes in the structure of the eye are some of the main challenges in forecasting overall strength of hurricanes. Interest along the Louisiana coast should prepare for a direct strike by a major hurricane late Friday or early Saturday. And conditions are expected to deteriorate by Thursday afternoon to Friday, even well ahead of the landfall. It's going to get real ugly, guys. We need to pray for Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi. We really, really do. And now that Delta has reached major hurricane strength, the wind field developing around it will remain very strong. Regardless of the loss of wind intensity near the core, surge and wind impacts will still be potentially devastating along and near where the hurricane makes landfall along the central Gulf Coast from late Friday to early Saturday morning. And AccuWeather believes the scale for the hurricanes for the United States has been assigned a 3 and weighs in not only wind, but also storm surge, rain, population density. The scale that this could be absolutely horrendous. This could be a hurricane of biblical proportions. So we're praying for you guys. Our hearts and prayers we're with you. We're pleading the blood of Christ over so many of you down there. We love you guys. We don't want this to hit. We know you've had a horrible year of storms. We're reaching out with the love of Jesus Christ, and we understand what you're going through. And while you're struggling with this, West Coast California still blazing on fire, and the Southern California earthquake swarms have become very dangerous. And it just seems like every time we turn around, we've got another problem. We've got another situation. COVID won't let up. Today was the deadliest day for COVID in the state of Indiana. 30 people died in Indiana today from COVID. I mean, we don't know what's going on. It's starting to spread like crazy again. It's like it did a rebound. It's very concerning. And but in other places, it's gotten much better. So, here we go again. And you just start wondering what is going to happen next. Well, guys, give your life to Jesus Christ, okay? I want to thank all 600 of you that just showed up here spontaneously. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. Pray, and pray. Yes, I heard that. President Trump has just canceled the next stimulus package. Apparently, the arguing, the fussing, the fighting, the Democrats wanted to do a stimulus if they could put in a ton of pork for all kinds of weird projects. And the president said, we're just not going to do that. They just can't do that. So I think maybe they'll get back to the table again. But we'll have to wait and see. It's so sad that we have so much infighting in this country that people can't get along. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care how bad it somebody else is. They're wanting to put it. And guys, if I could tell you what it is they want to put in this, and I can't, because if I bring it up, it's one of those hot topics that they don't like on these open forums. So I can't tell you. But if I told you, you'd say, oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. It's that ugly. Nobody cares about the American people. Very few do. Very few. And poor President Trump, as hard as he is fighting, it's constantly a battle that now they say Stephen Miller, top White House aide Stephen Miller, has now come down with COVID-19. So now Stephen Miller has COVID-19. Really weird that everybody at the White House is getting hit, the president included. Just strange to me how that just landed there in such a time like this. Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're running out of time. We really are.